Hello everybody, Simon here with another video. Today we're actually doing SimAirport again, because I've unfortunately lost the spore saves as a result of many things going wrong with my other computer. Probably never actually going to return to that series, which is a bit of a shame, but by request by Britannia's Royal Guard, who messaged me on Discord, link in the description, we're going to be doing SimAirport again. First of all, we started a new game, chose our government grants, and missed the X button completely, because that's what we do here. Start building by doing a lovely little foundation after listening to the lovely noise that all of these panels make. First foundation goes in for the ticketing. Next for the security. Boom. And then of course for the big concourse where you go and board your flight, which is obviously the least important part of this entire airport. Because no one likes airports, apart from me. Stuck down some gates, which I then realised weren't close enough to the actual concourse, so I had to fix that incredibly quickly to save myself from embarrassment in front of hundreds of people, although I could have just cut this out. Taxiway, very nice. I also somehow messed up on this. Pretended I didn't though. Do you know what I did? That's right. Cancelled it. Didn't cut out the video though. Could have done that. Didn't. Runway. Beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Next up was hiring more workers, because it was taking forever, as it usually does. And then of course, obviously, couldn't place walls down because it hadn't been built yet. Not very happy about that. Stick down a fence in order to stop any naughty people from getting in and doing things like pooing on our runway, which would arguably be the worst thing that anyone could do when they had unauthorised access. Start building the inside of this particular area, which will be split between ticketing and baggage claim. Completely didn't know where to put the doors, and so spent a few minutes trying to figure that out. Eventually figured out I wanted to place it there, and there. Next up, security. Security is very nice. It's red. It's also red because it's angry. Stick down a few ID check stands, and a bag scanner, and trying to orient the bag scanner and the metal detector didn't particularly go smoothly. Eventually worked out how to do it, and placed down enough, but I'm not going to show you me taking that long for all of them. Next up was a tiny little corridor for people to walk around security instead of going through it when trying to leave. And then of course came actually putting down ticketing desks so people can actually ticket, because that's what you do. Had to change around a wall because obviously nothing goes smoothly when you're trying to build an airport completely as you go. Fixed that. Came out actually rather nice. It's all looking very lovely, as you can see, which is very nice indeed. Airport was fairly big as well, and the workers were gradually getting on with things. After quite a bit of work, and some horrible floor choices, ended up with this, which obviously looks horrible now because it isn't built. And once again, the delivery zone ended up full because I've just ordered too many things. Fix that. There you go. Next was upgrading our runway with things like PAPI, runway lights, and ILS, all of which stop planes from crashing. Next was more bad carpet choices and some doors. You'll be able to see those carpet choices slightly further on, which you'll be excited for. Had to listen to that for quite a long time as they were building things. And then drills. Slowly but surely, the airport began to come together. As you can see, we started to put down floors in the ticketing section, and other sections as well, which is where we enter the first time-lapse of this video. Here we go. And now. Began to look very nice. As you can see, things had been built, and the horrible floor choices did in fact look very horrible. As you can see there, even more horrible floor choices because I picked the wrong floor and just couldn't be bothered to change it, which now everyone else also has to live with. Obviously, placing doors down and such took quite a while. It's now actually day 2, early in the morning. more floor choices. Yep, that's right, we went for brown. It was, obviously not going to be very enjoyable for anybody to walk down, which means they'll obviously walk through the airport quicker and increase efficiency, which is very important. Obviously I had to put down a security exit so no naughty people could come in and poo on our runway. And then we placed down a couple of gate agent desks, and didn't like the fact I'd done that, so I, deleted one. Lovely. And it all looked very nice. Next up on the agenda was watching people run through the airport to build those. Hiring people, of course, very important. Did that next, and as you can see, it was actually not particularly cheap. There's quite a few of them needed. Assigning the gate agent desks to the actual gates themselves took a second because I forgot the button. Did it. There we go. Obviously, putting down information displays and a large number of bushes is very important when you're making a nice looking airport that people can walk into bushes in. Next was placing down an air traffic control tower, because without that you can't actually schedule more than 10 flights. And so after doing that, time for another scheduling time lapse, believe it or not. Next up was building a cafe and kitchen. Now, if you remember the last series, last time we did this ended with quite a few kitchen sinks somehow ending up on fire. Still don't know how, and hopefully it wasn't because the kitchen sink had a hot water tap. Next out was outfitting with things, and then I realised, oh hang on a minute, there are people turning up for their flights. Then went back to putting things into the kitchen and cafe because, honestly, I wasn't particularly interested in that because the plane didn't turn up until 6. And then it turned up at 5:30, which was slightly irritating because I'd missed it. But there it was, our first flight at airport number 2. Obviously, things were going well, having a look at a couple of planes, before somehow ending up in another time-lapse. Obviously, needed more staff to hire... What? Hang on. No, needed more staff to do the kitchen, otherwise we couldn't have a functional kitchen. And then we realised, there it was, our guitar airplane. And I'll let you revel in the beauty of that for a minute, because it is beautiful. Got the logo on the tail and everything. Let me know in the Discord if you want that put on to Steam so you can have it yourself. Just watch it take off in absolute awe. Wow. Obviously, more benches were needed because people couldn't actually sit down because there were no benches spare. Very, very important. And next up was toilets, because I'd somehow forgotten toilets. It's very annoying when you forget toilets because you then realise, oh hang on, I need the toilet and I can't go. More jackhammer sounds. Many more jackhammers. And there it was. The airport was functional. Almost. Obviously the toilet wasn't functional yet for the men, but the women could always use theirs, and I suppose a man could put on a high-pitched voice and end up in there and have a very, very, very quick and very naughty urination. Now, this is where we're going to leave it off for this video. It's gone fairly well. Let me know if you're enjoying this. Make sure to join the Discord, link is in the description. We'll end up with you in the next video, perhaps, depending on what I do. See you then.